Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Think about the 5 people you call your closest friends right now. Got them in your head? Good. Now ask yourself this: how many of them would still be around if you stopped being useful? How many of them would still call, still check in, still show up if you had nothing to offer them? No connections, no money, no advice, no shoulder to cry on. Just you. That's not a fun question, I know, but it might be the most important one you ever sit with. Because most people spend years, decades pouring time, energy, loyalty, and love into friendships that were never really friendships at all. And by the time they figure it out, they've paid an enormous price. So let's go through 7 truths about friendship that nobody wants to say out loud. These aren't cynical takes. They're honest observations that if you'd known them earlier would have saved you years of confusion, heartbreak, and misplaced energy. Let's go one by one. The first one is this: if they only call when they need something, you're a tool, not a friend. Think about the person who only texts when they need a favor. The friend who only calls when their life is falling apart and needs you to help pick up the pieces. The one who goes completely silent for months and then resurfaces right on schedule, right when something is wrong in their world. And every time they come back, there's always something they need. Always a reason, always an ask. You tell yourself, well, that's just how they are. They're bad at keeping in touch. They've got a lot going on. No. People are not bad at keeping in touch with people they genuinely value. We all find time for what matters to us. You find time for the things that are important to you, and so does everyone else. If someone consistently appears only when they need something from you, that pattern is not an accident. That is not them being busy. That is the relationship showing you exactly what it is. You are a resource in their life, not a person. And the painful part is, most people in that position don't even realize it. They're too busy feeling needed. Because being needed feels close enough to being loved that it's dangerously easy to confuse the two. But love shows up even when there's nothing to gain. Need only shows up when there is. The test is simple. When nothing is wrong, when nobody needs anything, when there's no crisis and no favor on the table, do they show up? Do they call just to hear your voice? Do they check in just because they were thinking about you? If the answer is no, you already have your answer. The second truth is harder to admit, because it's about the friendships you've been protecting without even realizing it. Some friendships survive only because you never bring up the truth. Think about the relationships in your life where everything is fine, as long as certain things go unspoken. As long as you don't mention the time they let you down. As long as you don't bring up the pattern you've noticed. As long as you swallow what you actually think and perform a version of yourself they're comfortable with. People call these friendships low drama. They call them easy. But there's nothing easy about a relationship that requires you to be smaller than you are. There's nothing peaceful about a silence you're forced to keep. Real friendship can hold honesty. Real friendship doesn't shatter the moment you say, hey, that hurt, or I disagree with you on this, or I think you're making a mistake. A friendship that can only survive when you stay quiet is not a friendship built on love. It's a friendship built on convenience. And deep down, you already know the difference. A friendship that can only survive on silence is not a friendship. It's a performance, and at some point, every performance gets exhausting. The third truth is the one that catches people completely off guard, because it happens at the exact moment you expect to feel most celebrated. A lot of support disappears when you start winning. When you're struggling, everyone shows up. They offer advice, they check in, they sit with you, they tell you they believe in you. They seem genuinely invested in your success, and you feel grateful. You feel surrounded, you think, I have good people around me. And then you actually start succeeding, and slowly, quietly, almost invisibly, things shift. The calls get shorter, the enthusiasm fades. They find subtle ways to minimize what you've done. Little comments here and there, a strange coldness where warmth used to be. And you think, am I imagining this? You're not. Some people's support for you was never really about you. It was conditional on your needing them. When you were struggling, you confirmed something they needed to believe, that they were further ahead, more capable, more stable than you. You were safe to root for because you hadn't arrived yet. The moment you start thriving, that dynamic changes, and not everyone can handle it. This doesn't make them terrible people, it makes them human. But it does mean you need to pay attention. Because the people who celebrate you loudest in your struggle and go quiet in your success, they were never really in your corner. They were in their own. The fourth truth is about something we'd all rather believe was random, but it isn't. People don't betray you randomly. They betray you when it benefits them. We talk about betrayal like it's a lightning strike, sudden, unpredictable, impossible to see coming. But when you actually look back at every significant betrayal you've experienced, there was almost always something at stake for that person. A promotion, a relationship, their reputation, money, their own comfort, their own safety. Betrayal follows incentives. People rationalize going against you when the benefit is big enough and the cost to them feels low enough. They tell themselves a story that makes it okay, and most of the time it's not even fully conscious. It happens in small, quiet decisions that add up. So if you want to understand whether someone will truly have your back when it matters, stop only looking at their personality. Stop only listening to their words. Look at their incentives. Look at what they stand to gain or lose in the moments that test loyalty. Because when someone's gain and your loyalty are in direct conflict, you will find out exactly who they are. And that moment will tell you more than years of easy friendship ever could. The fifth truth is the one people argue with the most, but it holds up every single time. If they gossip to you, they gossip about you. People hear this and immediately think of their exception. But we're closer than that. They tell me things they don't tell anyone else. Our friendship is different. No, you're not the exception. You're just not in the room. A person who habitually shares other people's private information, who can't help but tell you what someone confided in them, who always has something to say about someone who isn't there, that is not a trait they switch off for you. That is a pattern. That is who they are in every room, including the ones you're not in. The most dangerous gossips are the ones who make you feel special while doing it, who lean in close and say, I'm only telling you this because I trust you. That feeling of being chosen, of being on the inside, that's the trap. Because the same instinct that pulls them to share other people's secrets with you is the exact same instinct at work when they're sitting across from someone else, talking about you. Pay attention to what people do, not what they promise they'd never do to you. The sixth truth is about something far more powerful than most people give credit to. Your circle predicts your future more than your goals do. We love goals. We write them down, we visualize them, we build plans around them, and goals absolutely matter. But your social environment is operating on you every single day, quietly, constantly, at a level that goals simply cannot compete with. The people around you set the standard for what is normal. What is normal becomes what is automatic. What is automatic becomes your life. It really is that direct. If your closest friends are comfortable with mediocrity, if they make the same complaints year after year and never move, if ambition makes them uncomfortable, you will drift toward that baseline. Not because you're weak or because you don't have goals, but because humans are wired to calibrate to their environment. It is deeply biological. We match the energy of the rooms we spend the most time in. Conversely, spend enough time around people who are genuinely building something, who hold themselves to a high standard, who push you to think bigger without even trying, and your ceiling rises. Your sense of what's possible expands. Your normal shifts upward. Your goals tell you where you want to go. Your circle tells you whether you'll actually get there. Be honest with yourself about which one is having more influence over your daily choices right now. And the seventh truth, this is the one that should stay with you the longest. The wrong people don't just waste your time, they change your personality. Wasted time is painful, but you can recover it. Lost money is painful, but it can be earned back. Missed opportunities hurt, but new ones come. But the way you see yourself, the beliefs you carry about what you deserve, what's possible for you, how safe it is to be open, how much you can trust your own judgment, those things are not easily recovered. Those run deep. Spend years around someone who constantly undermines you, and you stop trusting your own instincts. Spend years around someone who makes you feel small, and you start acting small, not just around them, but everywhere. Spend years in friendships where you have to manage, perform, and shrink yourself to keep the peace, and slowly that shrinking becomes your default way of moving through the world. And the truly frightening thing is, it doesn't happen all at once. It happens so gradually that you don't even notice it. One day you just realize you're less bold than you used to be, less open, less willing to take up space, less yourself. And when you trace it back, you find the environment that shaped it. The wrong people don't take your time, they take you. Now, before you walk away and decide to trust no one, that's not what this is about. The point is discernment. The point is honesty. Most people run their friendships on autopilot, keeping relationships out of habit, out of history, out of fear of being alone. They confuse loyalty with obligation. They confuse longevity with depth. This isn't about burning everything down. It's about being honest enough to see your relationships for what they actually are. To stop excusing patterns that have shown themselves over and over again. To stop waiting for people to be different than they've consistently proven themselves to be. The goal is a smaller, truer circle. People who show up when there's nothing in it for them. People who can hold your honesty and give you theirs. People who are genuinely glad when you win. People whose presence makes you more, not less, of who you actually are. That kind of friendship is rare, but it exists. And it is absolutely worth clearing space for. Because the right people don't just make your days better, they make you better. And that, more than any goal you could ever set, is what shapes the life you actually end up living. If this hit home, do me a favor, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Not everyone is ready for this conversation, but the ones who are will thank you for it. And if you want more content like this, the kind that actually makes you stop and think, hit that follow button. Because we're just getting started.